You know what's one of the most craziest things that no one ever talks about being a black person? Is when you run into a white person with your same last name. It is the most awkward thing in the world, especially if you don't have a super common last name. The first thing you say is, we both have the same last name. And then you sit there for a second and it's an awkward pause and you go, oh yeah, I think I know what might have happened. Anyway, now that we're off of that detour, we're gonna talk about the 10 most common black names in America and their history due to the transatlantic slave trade. Many African Americans lost their original surnames and were given new ones, often from their enslavers or based on other circumstances. Over time, some names became more common within the black community due to cultural, historical, and social factors. In this video, we'll look at the 10 most common black names in America and where they are most common. Okay, so before I get started, why don't you go down to the comments and leave the top 3 last names that you think are the most common, and then we'll see if you got it right at the end of this video. I think that most people will get at least one right in the top 3 because they're overall pretty common in America, but most of you guys have no chance of getting all 3. Let's do a countdown from the number 10 to the number 1 most common black last name in America. If your last name is in this top 10, which it most likely will be, you might have a ton of family out there that you didn't even know about, or you guys could have been on the same plantation. I hate to say it, but you just might have been. At number 10, we have Robinson. Robinson is a surname meaning son of Robin. The name originated in England and Scotland, where Robin was a widely used common name during the Middle Ages. European settlers with this surname brought it to North America, where it became common among enslavers and the general population. Like many other common surnames among African Americans, Robinson was often assigned to enslaved people by their enslavers. Some enslaved individuals took the surname of their enslavers, either voluntarily or by force, while others adopted it after gaining freedom as a way to establish an identity. After emancipation, many freed black families moved to different parts of the country, keeping or adopting the name Robinson. The Great Migration saw millions of black Americans relocating from the rural South to cities in the North and West, carrying the surname with them. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are 221,835 black Americans with the Robinson last name. Some well-known people in popular culture with the last name Robinson include, of course, Jackie Robinson, Smokey Robinson, Holly Robinson, and Craig Robinson. Let's not forget David Robinson. Washington, D.C. is the city with the highest concentration of Robinsons, while California, Texas, and Florida are the states with the highest number of Robinsons. At number 9, we have Thomas. The surname Thomas is of biblical origin, derived from the Hebrew name Toma or twin. It was commonly used among European settlers and, as a result, was often given to or adopted by enslaved people in the United States. Over generations, Thomas has remained one of the most prevalent surnames in African American communities. According to the census, there are 271,273 black Americans with the last name Thomas. And this last name is most common in Florida, California, and Texas. Some famous black people with the last name Thomas include Clarence Thomas, Rosanda Thomas, aka Chili, and Isaiah Thomas. At number 8, we have Harris. The name Harris is of English origin, derived from son of Harry, with Harry being a medieval form of Henry. It was a common last name among slave owners, who then gave the last name, of course, to their slaves. There are 274,273 black Americans with the last name Harris. Some famous black people with the last name Harris include, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris, Shantae Harris, aka The Brat, Clifford Harris, aka T.I., and Tony Harris. The Harris last name is most common in Georgia, California, and Texas. At number 7, we have Davis. Davis, meaning son of David, is of English and Welsh origin. This name became common among African Americans due to, what else? Slavery, as enslaved people often took the surnames of their owners. Notably, the surname Davis is also associated with prominent black historical figures such as activist Angela Davis. Other famous black people with the last name Davis include Miles Davis, Sammy Davis Jr., Viola Davis, and D. Ray Davis. Davis lands at the number 7 spot with an estimated 352,769 black people with the last name Davis in America. All right, so before I get to the rest of this list, it's about that time I ask you for a little favor. If you like this video and you find it entertaining, informative, interesting, anything positive, please go down there and hit that like button and subscribe to us. If you watch our videos often, or this is the first time you've ever seen my face and you aren't subscribed, now is the time to hit that subscribe button and show us that you find our content enjoyable. Thank you so much. Now back to the list. At number 6, we have Jackson. I think this is one last name that everyone will associate with black people in America, and you know why. I better not even have to say it. It's the Jackson family and Michael Jackson. Jackson is an English and Scottish surname meaning son of Jack, where Jack itself is derived from the given name of John. This is another common surname among European settlers in North America, including, of course, slaveholders. One significant reason why Jackson is a common surname among African Americans is the prominence of Andrew Jackson, the 7th president of the US. He was a well-known and influential figure during the early 19th century. Although Andrew Jackson himself was a controversial figure, known for his role in Indian removal, taking their land and killing tons of them, and owning enslaved people, the name Jackson remained widespread among African Americans, particularly for those who lived on Jackson-owned plantations. It's estimated that there are currently 353,179 Black Americans with the last name Jackson. Some famous black people with this last name include the whole Jackson family, of course, Jesse Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, Bo Jackson, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. Jackson is dominant in the South in states like Mississippi, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. At number 5, we have Brown. Brown is of Anglo-Saxon origin and was often used as a descriptive name referring to skin color. After the Civil War, the Freedmen's Bureau helped formerly enslaved people establish legal identities. Many newly freed African Americans adopted surnames like Brown because they had previously been known only by first names. There are currently 476,702 Black Americans with the last name Brown. The last name is more common in states like Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. There are a lot of Browns in the entertainment industry, including James Brown, Bobby Brown, Chris Brown, Yvette Nicole Brown, and Sterling Brown. At number 4, we're getting close to that top 3. You better hurry up and leave your comments. At number 4, we have the last name Jones. The surname Jones is of Welsh origin, meaning son of John. It became common among African Americans due to its widespread use among enslavers. After emancipation, many formerly enslaved black people retained the last name Jones, either because it was familiar or because it had been used in the family for generations. It's estimated that there are 514,167 black people in America with the last name Jones, and they are more likely to be found in the South and or Midwest cities like Chicago and Detroit. Now let's get into the top 3, and these 3 will not surprise anybody, starting with Smith. The name Smith has English origins and originally denoted somebody who worked as a blacksmith. As one of the most widespread surnames in the United States, many Black Americans carry this name due to its historical practice of enslaved people being assigned or adopting their enslavers' names. The name also became prominent in Black communities as a chosen surname due to its widespread familiarity. I'm sure the number 1 famous person you can think of with the last name is Will Smith and the Smith family. But there are so many other notable black figures with the last name, like Stephen A. Smith, Yandy Smith, and blues singer Bessie Smith. Side note, before we move on to the top 2, did you know that the last name Smith is so common that it actually makes it difficult for many African Americans to trace their ancestry back to Africa if they're trying to do so? A lot of African Americans chose this actually after slavery because it was associated with being a skilled laborer or helped them maybe get a job. At number 2, we have Johnson. Johnson, meaning son of John, is of English and Scottish origin. Anthony Johnson is one of the earliest recorded Black Americans with the surname Johnson. Originally an African indentured servant in Virginia, he gained his freedom and even owned land and enslaved workers himself. After the Civil War, many newly freed African Americans had to choose a last name. Johnson was a widely known and easy to adopt surname. Johnsons are found pretty much anywhere black people are found in large populations, like in the South and big cities like New York and Chicago. There are 627,720 Black Johnsons in America. Pause, because that didn't sound right at all. Making it the second most common Black last name. And at the #1 spot, the most common Black last name is Williams. Yes, Williams, not Carter. There's so many other last names I would have picked before Williams. Jefferson. The surname Williams is one of the most common last names in the United States and has a particularly strong presence in the Black community. It is of English and Welsh origin, meaning son of William. They weren't creative at all. It's just, you're son of William, so we'll call you a Williams. Many enslaved individuals were assigned this name by their enslavers, while others adopted it after emancipation. In states like Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, free Black families with the last name Williams appear in historical records from the 18th and early 19th century. Some mixed-race individuals took the name Williams from their fathers or ancestors. Which makes me wonder again, where's Jefferson? Because we know. It became particularly common in states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and the Carolinas before spreading to cities like Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles due to the Great Migration. There are so many famous Black people with the last name Williams that it doesn't even make sense to try and include them all. But here are some of the most famous ones that I can think of, like Pharrell Williams, Serena and Venus, Wendy Williams, Cat Williams, Vanessa Williams, and Billy D. Williams. It's estimated there are 716,704 Black Americans with the last name Williams. So now that we're at the end of this list, did you get your top 3 right? Let me know again in the comments. That's it for today's video. We'll see you next time with another video with interesting topics in Black culture. My last name wasn't anywhere close to this list. I have never met anyone with my last name. Actually, there are people with my last name, and I almost guarantee we're probably related. Must have been a small plantation or something. I wonder how Africans do their surnames. We should talk about that one time in an episode. Because I feel like they all do it different. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.